Again, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera. I am here to talk about my brand new book, which is available for pre-order now. It's called Turn Autism Around, an action guide for parents of young children with early signs of autism. And it is available for pre-order. It is going to be in a hardback. This is actually called a galley, which is kind of a sample. And it's going to be in hardback. It is in Kindle right now. So you can order it either way. And it will also be an Audible. I read the book recently. And so if you are here, if you could leave me a comment and I can try to answer any questions you have. I do have a book pre-launched page at turnautismaround.com. So I would love it if you are interested to join our launch team. All the details for joining the launch team, as well as all the bonuses you would get for joining the launch team, are available at turnautismaround.com. And I'm going to just check in here and see who is watching, if I can tell. So it's always a little iffy with technology. All right, so we do have a couple comments. The Melanie Grace, Luca Flips. So I guess you can hear and see me. I just wanted to jump on here quick and tell you about the book. So if you have any questions about the book, maybe some of you know my first book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, and maybe your questions are, how is this book different than my first book? So I can answer that. If you want to leave me a comment, ask me any questions, you can do that as well. Okay, so for those of you that are just hopping on and you have, you don't even know who I am or what I'm all about. So I am Mary Barbera, and I fell into the autism world in 1999 when my firstborn son, Lucas, was diagnosed with moderate to severe autism one day before he turned 3. But I actually fell into the autism world a year and a half earlier when Lucas started showing signs of autism shortly after his first birthday. He had some regression with skills. He lost some skills. I just thought he was going through phases. And then after my second son, Spencer, was born, Lucas, my husband first mentioned the possibility of autism when Lucas was 21 months of age. And I was freaked out. I had no idea what autism would look like in a toddler. And I didn't think there was anything we could do to intervene anyway. So I was just keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that it was just a speech delay and he would catch up on his own. So we have Lily Daisy, who says she's so excited about my book, and it's 4 a.m. Australia time, and she is excited about the book. So hopefully you have pre-ordered and joined the launch team already, Lily. So to do that, to get the book and to pre-order, you can go to turnautismaround.com for all the details. So anyway, I fell into the autism world in late 1990s. My son Lucas is now 24 years of age. Spencer just turned 23. Lucas is still very much impaired with moderate to severe autism and an intellectual disability. So I am his guardian. He lives with us, my husband and I. I've advocated for services, and he's happy and safe, and he is not going to the same place that he went to back in the spring because of COVID. So, we've had to adjust, and we've had to switch gears a bit over the years. Spencer is 23 and he's in med school. So a lot of my background comes from being a mom of both son with autism, who is typically developing. And then I also have experiences since the mid 80s as a registered nurse. And I'm a board certified behavior analyst since 2003, and I have my doctorate in leadership with a dissertation on ABA and training professionals on the verbal operants. So my first book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, and it's right here. So my first book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, How to Teach Children with Autism and Related Disorders, it was published in 2007. I wrote this book in 2006, a very long time ago. I had no idea it was going to be any big deal, but I knew I had to write about my experiences as a mom, kind of falling into a deep hole, as I describe it, and not knowing what to do. I clawed my way out of that hole, started climbing the mountains, started figuring it out for Lucas, and then I became a behavior analyst, worked with probably thousands of kids directly, certainly trained thousands of people around the world. And then I earned a PhD and was really traveling around the world speaking about my book, but I was also, for the first 7 years of my career, working for a big statewide grant in Pennsylvania called the Pennsylvania Verbal Behavior Project, which is now the Patent Autism ABA Supports Initiative. But then I left the project in 2010 and began working with very young children in their homes. And that's really where I developed my step-by-step, my 4-step approach, the Turn Autism Around approach, where we train parents and professionals how to assess quickly, easily, how to plan and make sure goals are appropriate, how to gather materials and get yourself ready in terms of planning. And then the third step is teaching or intervening in all areas, talking, tantrums, potty, sleep, eating, all of the areas. And then the fourth step is using data, easy data that's quick and easy for parents to learn to make database decisions so children can improve. And so I wasn't planning on writing another book. I actually began creating online courses in 2015 and created a podcast called the Turn Autism Around podcast, created video blogs. So if you have an autism question, if you search Mary Autism plus your topic, there's a very good chance you're going to find free information that's out there about what my thoughts are about potty, talking, tantrums, you name it, the M-chat, the how can you tell if it's speech delay or autism. We have video blogs all over YouTube and all over my website, marybarbera.com, that will help you and guide you. So I wasn't going to write another book, but I have 2 online courses. One is for parents and early intervention professionals of toddlers and preschoolers, and then another one called the Verbal Behavior Bundle, which is more for children that are potentially older when you get started, or for professionals who work with a wide range of ages. And why I decided to write my new book, Turn Autism Around, is because parents in the toddler preschooler course were just reporting very, very good gains. And I wanted to get that word out to more than hundreds or thousands of people who are taking the online courses out to the world. So, but I knew if I was going to write another book, I wanted it to be as big as possible, reach as many people as possible. And so I got Dr. Temple Grandin to write the foreword. It's a really, really nice foreword. And I wrote it. I got a big contract with a big publisher. It's going to be distributing through Random Penguin House. It's already reached, because of the pre-orders, and we just opened it up for pre-orders just 1 week ago. And we already have spiked sales to the point where this book has now reached #1 best-selling new release in 5 different categories on Amazon. Not just autism and Asperger's, which is still the #1 new release and probably will be for until it's published in late March. We reached the #1 new release category in baby and toddler parenting, which I was really excited about, children's health, disability parenting, and children's learning disorders. And the greatest thing about this book is it's actually not just for kids with autism, although autism is in the title, and my background in autism certainly is all throughout. But this is also really helpful for young children who have speech delays or have maybe early signs of ADHD, or you have an older sibling and you just want to be proactive in terms of knowing the signs and knowing what to do for a young child. So it is written for parents primarily of young children ages 1 to 5. However, if you have an 8 or 10 or 15-year-old with moderate to severe autism, the chapters in this book are going to be still really helpful, because there's 2 chapters on talking, one on basic talking and one on more advanced talking. Problem behavior reduction. We've got a chapter on assessment, a chapter on planning, making sure your goals are appropriate. We have chapters on eating, sleeping, potty training, and desensitization to going to the doctors, dentists, haircuts, how to repair something that's gotten aversive, how to get blood draws done, or if the child suddenly doesn't want to take a bath or doesn't want their hair washed, how do you repair the situation to make it better? Okay. So it looks like we've got quite a few questions and comments. Let me see if I have anything that I can answer quickly. This person, Naz A, has pre-ordered the book. When will it be available on Audible? I expect the Audible will come out on March 30th. I'm not sure if it'll be available for pre-order or not. It's not right now. Romeo says, my son's going to be 2 in February and he hasn't been saying many words. If you can give me tips. Yeah, so this whole book will give you lots of tips. So join our launch team. Half of our members in our toddler preschooler online course do not have children diagnosed with autism. They're waiting, they're worrying, and they're finding out that there's a ton they can do to really help the situation. In the meantime, also you can search, Mary Autism, is it speech delay or autism, or what to do for speech delay? Make sure you search my name with what to do with speech delays or any other signs you're worried about, like pointing. Lack of pointing is a big red flag. I have a video blog on pointing. So just search Mary Autism Pointing, and that might be able to help you. I would love to know if you wrote about siblings. My oldest 4 is on the spectrum and my 2.5-year-old is typical. I have for you in this book some advice about play and, pairing each other, reducing problem behaviors. I did do a really good podcast episode with my typically developing son, Spencer, who is, like I said, 23 at the beginning of the broadcast. And his episode is at episode 85. So marybarbera.com/85. And we talk all about sibling issues. And we give some tips too about some things to think about. Okay. Any advice on how to develop speech in a 3-year-old? He can say one pop-out word, would be so appreciative. Yeah, so I talk about pop-out words. And I don't know if I coined the term, but I didn't know anything when Lucas was delayed and going to speech therapy and was diagnosed. I had no idea. Lucas had some words that would come out occasionally, but I had no idea how to get them. So yeah, one little tip, this is the 1 word times 3 strategy, is anytime a child wants something, so say they want this drink and they're, this is water in the cup, or this is, just say it's juice. And the child really knows that this is their cup and this is juice and they want it and they're reaching for it. Okay, so you want juice, juice, juice. And so say it 3 times. up to 3 times. Now, if you say juice and your child says Jew, give it to them. Even if it's not a perfect word, if it's a word approximation, give it to them on the first juice. But if not, juice, juice, juice in a slower, more animated tone. If you're going up the steps, instead of saying, let's go up the steps, take a bath, Johnny, it's time to take a bath, just say up, up, up as you're climbing the steps up. If you're going to go outside, and he loves to go outside, and you're standing by the door, right before you open the door, open, open, open. So that's the 1 word times 3 strategy. You can do that. And some people see massive improvements with just that one strategy. My nephew's going to be 6. He doesn't speak. How do I get his mom to be more involved with your help and not so dependent on the therapist who won't let him back due to COVID mask requirements? Yeah, just to have you and or your the child's mom, like both of you can pre-order the book at turnautismaround.com. You can join my launch team. You can search for Mary Autism Speech, and lots of things will pop up. But my book and my courses are more step-by-step. And that's what I would recommend. Because there's a lot of people say, well, why should I buy your course? Or why should I get this book? I could just listen to, all these video blogs and podcasts, because time is of the essence. And especially when you have a very young child, you have to get on this, and you don't have time to waste. Yeah, you could learn how to, play the guitar by searching all over the internet for guitar videos. But if it's not presented in a step-by-step way, it's probably not going to work. So we not only provide the content in a step-by-step format within my online courses and within the new book, to a large extent, we also provide in the online courses, we provide a community of support so that when and if you get stuck, we can help you get unstuck. Okay, so Anne says she's upset because she couldn't order the pre-order from Amazon to receive it in France. The other providers don't deliver in France. So disappointed because I wanted to join the launch team. Could you help me out? Yes, Ange. I think you can order it on Kindle for now. And then email info@marybarbera.com, because we did just get a list of other booksellers internationally, because we have, with our online courses, we have parents and professionals from over 80 countries have taken advantage of and purchased our online courses. So, and my first book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, is in 13 or 14 languages now. So we know we're going to have a high demand for this book in multiple languages. So it will come, and just email us, and we'll get you in the launch team. Thanks. Very interested in the book because my son has autism. He's 5 going on 6. Excellent. And like most of the marketing materials say, this book is for 1 to 5-year-olds, but it doesn't matter. It's 1 to 5 chronologic or real age, or 1 to 5 developmentally or language age. Like in a lot of ways, Lucas, who's 24, is functioning language-wise less than a 5-year-old. He's not conversational. And this book will really help you think about how to get your child more and more conversational. My daughter stopped eating many kinds of foods. What would you recommend to do? So there's a whole chapter on feeding issues within the book. And for now, we have a video blog on feeding that's really good. So Mary Autism Feeding, and a really, really good, one of my favorite podcast episodes. It was with an international feeding expert, Dr. Keith Williams. So you can go to marybarbera.com/95. Can you advise me on how to control myself when my son starts any behaviors that are not good? So I think just learning about what you can do to prevent those problem behaviors is key. 95% of our time should be on prevention of problem behaviors, and that's all covered in my book and courses. Does this book have a chapter explaining verbal behavior operants? Yeah, we do talk about that in chapter 8, which is all about talking. But it's really not that important when you're starting out that you absolutely know the difference between a tact and an intraverbal. That's actually was the topic of my dissertation, to train people on becoming fluent with the verbal operants, because my procedures really combine the operants. And so we use things like the 1 word times 3 strategy. We use things like potato head, where we name the parts up to 3 times. And the biggest thing is we have to get the child motivated to want to sit with us and learn. So yes, we definitely talk about that. And my first book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, certainly talks about that a lot. Okay. So if you are just joining us, I am just talking about my new book, Turn Autism Around, which you can get pre-order, and then you can get it get on the launch team at turnautismaround.com. And I'm just answering some questions about my book and my work and how you can find the answers. My book will actually not be shipped until March 30th, or you'll receive it on March 30th, whichever comes first. And the other reason to pre-order the book is my first book, The Verbal Behavior Approach, that came out in 2007, actually sold out on pre-order, and they didn't print enough copies. So I don't want that to happen. My book's already been a bestseller on the best-selling new releases in 5 different categories. I'm going to be doing a lot of podcasts, a lot of radio, TV, interviews, and so it really is going to be a game changer, I think, for not only the autism world, but the world of early intervention, the world of parenting, kids with some speech delays, kids that are siblings of kids with autism. Let me just see. I have teen boys with autism and epilepsy, repetition, routine, boundaries, struggling with online school, and no public facilities open. Yeah. And COVID has just been so tough for so many families. I would encourage you to buy the book, even though your sons are older, they're still struggling with some of the stuff that's in the book. And then I would also have you look at the online course called the Verbal Behavior Bundle, because there's a lot you can do, even if your child is significantly impaired. All right. And somebody said regarding pop-out words, which she had quoted, I'm pretty sure you did coin the word. Not that that's important. Literally, I just saw a lot of my clients have words and pop-out words. And, these kids are being labeled nonverbal, not talking at all. And then when I go in to evaluate, I'm like, but they are saying a couple things. And so I think that if they can say a couple things occasionally, then there's more hope than we can get them talking. And so that's super exciting. Dan said, my 3-year-old daughter points developmentally delayed, points and says several words, but lives in her own little world, doesn't respond to her name or even waving directly in front of her face, just plays by herself. Does that sound like possible autism? Yes, it could be. And there's a lot in this book in chapter 2 on some of the signs we look for. So she's 3. She is pointing, but just because she's pointing, did she point by 18 months? Did she point by 2? If she's not talking, she says several words, but the techniques in my book and my courses and my video blogs will help you. And a lot of the information in my book basically says it doesn't matter what it is actually. It doesn't matter if your child's been diagnosed with speech delay or autism or ADHD or Down syndrome. The techniques in my book will help you as the parent or early intervention professional, help you systematically get more words, get more attention, get more happiness. Because my goals are really that each child be as safe, as independent, and as happy as possible. And so, where can I buy your books? I'm in Switzerland currently. So anybody in another country, I would Google Turn Autism Around book, pre-order Switzerland, or, wherever you are. And it might pop up. And if you can't find it, look on Amazon in your country. If you can't find it, email us at info@marybarbera.com. You might be able to buy it as a Kindle version for now, and that may have to do for now. And the advantages of joining the book launch team, and I am going to want you to do a review, because you're going to get actually the book ahead of time, way ahead of time. So the book's not going to come out until end of March. You're going to get it in the next week or two. We haven't quite decided exactly when we're going to release it, but you got to be in the launch team to get that advanced copy, and you have to pre-order the book first. So you'll get an advanced copy of the whole thing. You'll get to be part of our Facebook group where you're going to get behind the scenes. You will get the first chapter right away as soon as you join the launch team. I also have some exclusive videos that I did with Temple Grandin, who wrote the foreword. Temple Grandin is now in her mid-70s, and she is, in my mind, the most famous autistic person in the world. Okay, so this person is already in my Verbal Behavior Bundle course. How does this book complement the course? Actually, the book is a lot more step-by-step to make sure you're on the right track, and then the Verbal Behavior Bundle really provides nice videos and also a systematic way of doing things. Now, the Verbal Behavior Bundle has a whole intermediate learner course, which teaches you how to teach reading and math and prepositions and pronouns and yes versus no and interverbal webbing and all those things. That is not in this book. This chapter 9 is on advanced talking. Like once you can talk, like how do we grow it? But there's not a lot of direct advice about advanced talking because it is so complicated, and that's why we have the intermediate learner course, which is a big part of the Verbal Behavior Bundle. So I would say this book really does a nice job of systematizing it, making it simple, and sometimes going back to the basics and be like, oh wow, we were working on that goal, and that wasn't the goal we should have been working on. All right, so Preeti said, I can't tell you how much my son has progressed after I took your course. He had a few pop-out words, but now his vocabulary has improved, has a coex, mans for a few things. Thank you for what you do. Awesome to hear. And thanks for being here. Hopefully you'll join my launch team too, because we need all the parents and professionals who are in the same camp to be like, we need to get this book out to the world so more kids benefit. All right, so I am just going to look for any last minute questions. Aisha said, I am so excited. She is a top fan. Awesome. Rebecca said, my son's speech, he doesn't say a lot, just the basic words, but in his school, his in school and doing speech in there. What tips do you have? Yeah, the more involved the parent is, the more involved you can be for home situations. I mean, during COVID, we were pretty much shut down throughout the world. And so even if whatever he got at school, if you weren't really aware, a lot of kids are showing regression, are showing lack of skills. And the more you can apply and generalize these procedures. So I would definitely say, if your child is not conversational, child or clients are not conversational, have any problem behaviors, have any areas of need in terms of feeding, eating, potty, going out into the community, socialization, you will benefit from this book. And I would love it if you would go to turnautismaround.com, pre-order the book, join our launch team. It's a really special group. I'll be in there a lot live, and really show the publishing world, show the media, show Amazon that we need more good autism books. And this is a really good one. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So if you have any problems ordering or have any questions that you can't figure out how to get on the launch team, just email us at info@marybarbera.com. I'm going to hop off now. I appreciate you guys joining me live. And if you're listening to the recording, that's awesome too. Join us in our group, and you'll get all of the behind the scenes, and you'll get early access to the book as well. And it might really help you change the trajectory of your child or client's life. So have a great day. Happy to see you here, and I'll talk soon. Bye.